Good afternoon. Of course, this shit ain't working right now. Good afternoon, freedom marchers, freedom lovers, freedom family, and freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building. Hitting y'all with another episode of Destroying Statist Talking Points. Today we're going to be discussing a very common talking point from the right. Yes, yesterday I destroyed a talking point from the left, right, that typically comes from the left. And today I'm going to be talking about a talking point that typically comes from the right-wing conservative, Republican base, right? Leaders within the Republican Party, the conservative leaders, that put themselves out there for you guys to consume knowledge from and consume content from, they often use the term, I believe, they'll say things like, I believe in law and order, I believe in law and order, I believe in law and order. They love law and order, but they always talk about freedom, right? They always talk about freedom. So much so that people on the left call them free dumb, right? They'll say that, oh, there we go with the free dumb, right? And this is quite true. The right loves to preach about freedom. They love to preach about freedom of speech, the freedom to keep and bear arms, all that good shit. But they love talking about law and order as well. Now, recently, Charlie Kirk died, and all of a sudden, the right forgot about protecting the freedom of speech, right? They believe in freedom when it's convenient, but they love to talk about law and order. They love to conflate law and order and freedom. They think that those two things can exist together at the same time. Now, of course, the law and order they're referring to is man-made law and man-made order. Those are the law and order they believe in. They believe in law and order made by man. Man-made law and order. That's what they believe in. They believe in man-made laws and man-made order. And they believe in government as well. But they also believe in freedom, which lets you know that they are operating from cognitive dissonance. That is having two belief systems that are opposing at the same time. It just doesn't make sense. There's no way you can believe in man-made law and order and freedom at the same time. They just don't go together, right? Because Hidden Marco, salute to you, brother. Salute to Hidden Marco. Welcome. Because law and order made by man, right? Man-made law and order by governments, right? Look at the government of the United States. They create laws and they try to create order as well. I know that, Hidden Marco. I know it's you. I know it's you, Jay. The government, well, they force laws on you to create order, right? And oftentimes, these laws are infringements on people's rights. And they give you the impression you're in the process of fleeing the U.S. Good for you. Good luck. Good luck. A lot of these laws are infringements on your rights and infringements on your freedoms. That's what these man-made laws are designed to do, to infringe, right? If you break these laws and they catch you, they get to lock you up, they get to fine you, they get to use you, right? That's what they get to do. And a lot of the laws are unnecessary. A lot of these man-made laws that they put out there are unnecessary. And the problem is, when you have statists that tell you that they believe in law and order, and they also believe in freedom, well, they are part of the problem, because they are convincing other people out there that we need these man-made laws, right? You can't have a society without law, right? You can't have a society without man-made laws designed to strip you of your freedoms, because that's what they're designed to do, right? Many of these laws, like laws that, a lot of crazy laws that restrict you of your free speech, laws that prohibit you from carrying certain weapons and tools, laws that prevent you from enjoying recreational plant matter, right? Listen, it's completely unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary, because this man-made law and order makes it impossible for you to enjoy freedoms that you should always enjoy. The freedom to travel, the freedom to keep and bear arms. These are things that we have inherently the right to do. Like, they create laws that force you to, if you want to buy a car, right? You want to buy a car, well, you got to go get it registered in order to drive it on these roads. You can't use a car on the road. You can buy the car. The car is yours. You fully own it. It's your car, right? But you're not free to travel in it unless you go to some government building. You got to go to the government building. You got to fill out these forms. You got to pay registration fees and title fees and all these other fees. You got to prove to them that you're safe to drive. That, you know what I'm saying? You have to prove all these things. You can't just travel freely, right? And if you violate it, they will take your car. They will fine you. They will put you in prison. They will do all these things. They will take away your driver's license. Well, what kind of freedom is that? Well, you might argue, oh, well, you need those laws. You need, those laws are to keep us safe on the road, to keep us safe. Well, I will argue that people that go through this entire process to get their license, to get their registration, to demonstrate they can drive safely on the road, they still get in accidents. They still violate posted speed limit signs. They still drive recklessly, because the people that are going to do crazy wild shit are going to do crazy wild shit whether there's a law or not. The laws are not designed to prevent people from doing crime at all. They're there to punish you if you violate them. Now, some people in the back of their mind, they're good people, right? There are good people out there that will violate these laws, right? Because they're inherently good people and they're safe, right? But they're going to be that way anyway. So the people that are responsible, that are going to drive, they're going to drive responsible regardless, right? They're going to get trained. They're going to demonstrate that they're safe. They're not going to drive recklessly. And the people that are going to drive recklessly, they're going to do that anyway, if you get what I'm saying. And far be it from me to say that these roads that they built, the way that this nation has evolved to where you practically can't do anything productive without a vehicle, right? You can't do anything productive without a vehicle. You know, back in the day, people used to travel by horse and buggy. They didn't have cars back in the day, right? So with industrialization came more things like roads and trains, interstate highways. so people can get around. And with that, they said, you know what? Well, we built these roads, or we paid to have these roads built using taxpayer money. Well, you know what? We got to create rules and regulations for people to be able to travel on these roads, right? So what that did was gave them a way to take more freedoms away. Take more freedoms away. So when you hear people talk about law and order, the same people that talk about they believe in law and order, they also believe in freedom. You have to question if they even know what freedom is, right? Do they even know what freedom is? More likely, they do not, because they will always put the state before your freedoms. They'll put the state first because they're statists. They give priority to the police. They give priority to their presidents. They give priority to the government structure that commits tyranny against you, right? They'll always put that first. They'll never work toward giving you your freedoms. Look at what just happened. Charlie Kirk gets murdered. The FBI tells you, oh, it was a leftist terror cell. It was a domestic terror group, right? They have convinced you guys that Charlie Kirk was murdered by a tranny terrorist cell. That's what they want you to believe, and you guys do believe that. And they want you to believe that it's dangerous to talk about Charlie Kirk's death however you want to talk about it. Well, you're using free speech to talk about it. Whether you're laughing about it, whether you're celebrating, people have the right to talk about Charlie Kirk's death any way they choose. Charlie Kirk's dead. He's dead already. Not talking badly about his death is not going to bring him back. And talking badly about his death, celebrating his death, is not going to kill him more. But the same people that talk to you about freedoms, that try to tell you that the left is coming for your freedoms, they talk about how Biden was eroding on your freedoms. They talk about that. The same people that tell you they believe in freedom, they also are telling you that you don't have the right to free speech, that people should be fired for not talking about Charlie Kirk's death the way they want you to talk about it. This is what they're saying. They're celebrating infringements. These people that tell you that they believe in freedom and also believe in law and order, they are telling you that you don't have the right to free speech if we don't agree with what you say, or if we feel badly, or you're talking about my best friend badly. Oh no. Well, guess what, people? People have the right to shit on Charlie Kirk after he died. They have the right. Just like the people that shit on Trayvon Martin, the people that shit on all the deaths of black folks, the people that didn't give a shit about that Democratic representative from Minnesota that was killed by a MAGA Trump supporter. No, y'all don't care about that. Y'all don't care about that. But you want us to give a shit about Charlie Kirk. And if we say anything that you don't agree with, you want people to get fired and be placed under arrest. Now they are trying to infringe on your rights in the name of Charlie Kirk. And these law and order freedom people, you know, the usual suspects, the conservatives that come to you and they talk to you and they tell you that they're pro-freedom, and they talk about 1776, our forefathers fought for our freedom. Yeah, they are also telling you that you ain't got the right to say what you want. Right? They want you to obey. They don't want you to resist. They don't want you to. They don't want you to resist infringement. They don't want you to resist tyranny. No. No. But a lot of them understand that you guys do believe in some form of freedom, and so they'll preach freedom to you all day and night. They'll preach freedom to you all day and night. But at the end of the day, that's not really what they want for you. Salute to Brother Shelton and Mind and Mansa Musa in the building. Salute to y'all. Yes, look at COVID. They did it during COVID. They love to talk about how these Democratic governors and Democratic mayors in these liberal cities, how they infringed on your rights. They made you wear face flags. They made you do this. They made you do that. Yeah, they love to talk about that. Oh, you should have the freedom to choose whether you want to get an injection or wear a face flag. Oh, they loved to preach freedom during the Modelo 19 pandemic. They loved it. But when their boy Donald Trump banned bump stocks, when he said, I like take the guns first, due process second, what did y'all do? Y'all didn't do shit. The right didn't do shit. They didn't say shit. They just let Donald Trump rock out. They said, oh, well, you don't need a bump stock anyway. A bump stock is not an arm. They made excuses. They made excuses, y'all. The same freedom-loving, church-going individuals that love to follow Christ, when we know Christ was an anarchist who was anti-establishment. Yeah, but guess what? Your favorite guy goes up there and tells you, yeah, we're going to take away bump stocks. We're going to push red flag laws. Y'all ain't had shit to say about it. You know why? Because at the end of the day, y'all don't really believe in freedom. Y'all don't believe in that. As long as your favorite guy is in office. You're Donald Trump. You can't go against what he says, right? But now he's threatening journalists that don't report upon him favorably. Pam Bondi is now telling us there's free speech and hate speech. Didn't Charlie Kirk tell y'all that hate speech is free speech? Didn't he tell y'all that empathy was weak? You know, Charlie Kirk may have been a racist, divisive motherfucker, but I honestly believe he believed more in freedom than y'all do. You guys that are pushing tyranny in his name with this Charlie Kirk, what's his name? St. Andrews. This Charlie Kirk Act, where they want to take away your passports. You guys are using Charlie Kirk, who believed in freedom more than y'all motherfuckers. He believed in the freedom to discriminate against black folks. He believed in the freedom to be a racist motherfucker. He believed in that. He didn't want anybody telling him he can't say what he wants about black people, that he can't say what he wants about the LMNOP community. Salute to Shad Killings in the building. Charlie Kirk was more pro-freedom than y'all are right now. Everybody that's using his name to push diabolical laws to pull people off air for making a joke, like Jimmy Kimmel. Would Charlie Kirk want y'all to take Jimmy Kimmel off air South Park clowned him. And he said, you know what? It's all good. Charlie Kirk loved it. They was shitting on him. Made him look like a fool. Charlie Kirk said, man, it's all good, man. Hey, man, you know, it ain't gonna stop me from pushing my racist rhetoric. I can respect that about Charlie Kirk. Right? Charlie Kirk stood on business with his racism, his right to spew racist hate. Yeah, he was all about that. He was all about it. But at least we knew where he was coming from. He wasn't fake about it. Shot Killing says anarchy for life. Absolutely. See, one thing that you will understand about a true anarchist is we don't believe in man-made law and order. We believe 100% in freedom. Do you understand? 100%. But we have to understand that your favorite conservative talking head does not. They don't believe in freedom. So the next time they say some shit about freedom, remind them that their party is trying to have people fired, jailed, their freedom to travel taken away because they didn't like what they had to fucking say. Y'all celebrating Jimmy Kimmel being taken off the air. I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. He's not funny. And he's a leftist nut job who wants to take your guns away. He is also a statist who wants to strip you of your rights. Fuck Jimmy Kimmel. I don't care about him. But the idea that they could take away his platform for saying words is asinine. He can say whatever he wants about guns. He doesn't have to like people having guns. He doesn't have to like anything. But he's not the one who's actually trying to take your guns away. He's not part of the government. People can say whatever they want. The bottom line is, if they push this bill through, this act, the Charlie Kirk Act, if it goes through and Donald Trump signs this into law, I don't want to hear a motherfucking thing about freedom coming out of another Republican conservative's mouth. Don't ever talk about freedom. Stick to law and order. Stick to law and order. Because you think this won't affect you. But you do understand that this system operates in cycles. The system operates in cycles. One cycle, you'll have Republican control, and then another cycle, you'll have Democrat control. That's how it's designed to be. So you guys pass this law. Now, it's going to be a bipartisan push. It's going to be bipartisan. Every time they further infringe on our rights through legislation, it's bipartisan. I talked about this before. The Patriot Act was bipartisan. The Model States Health Emergency Powers Act was bipartisan. This will be bipartisan. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a bill they tried to introduce years ago, back in like 2018 or something like that. It was called the TAPS Act. The TAPS Act was even more diabolical than the Charlie Kirk Act. I think the Charlie Kirk Act isn't as bad as the TAPS Act would have been, but they introduced the TAPS Act. Now that would have been crazy, because the TAPS Act, I covered it before. I've got exactly what the acronym stood for, but what it would do is anybody that said anything that they considered to be dangerous language on social media could be placed under psychological evaluation. They could have their firearms taken away, their rights to free speech. They could be placed under observation. They could be deemed to be a terrorist. simply for saying shit. Because the idea behind the TAPS Act is to punish you essentially for a crime they think you're going to commit. I called it the Minority Report Act. M said he remembered that tap. Yeah. Dan Crenshaw backed that act. And guess what? I don't know what happened to it. I don't know why they didn't push it through. But it had bipartisan support. So basically what the TAPS Act would do is, let's say, right, and it's really targeted toward people on social media, right, for them to be able to prevent crime from happening. It was a pre-crime bill, exactly, beer gut boomer. It was a pre-crime bill. So if they felt like you were saying something that would make them believe you would do something bad in the future, they could detain you, put you on observation, and all that shit. And they can go through everything. They can take your guns away. They can put you in a loony bin. Yeah. Have a court-appointed psychiatrist evaluate you. All without due process. Because there is no due process because a crime hasn't been committed. The TAPS Act would allow them to do all this before you even... Yeah. Like if I came out and I said, man, fuck the government. They could take me saying that and they say, we got to go get this guy. He might do something bad or something like that. We need to go grab this guy. And all I said was fuck the government. I have the right to say fuck the government. That was the whole point behind the First Amendment, by the way. Shah Killen says, even if the court ordered to take my guns away, I wouldn't give them up. You know, Shah Killen, there are quite a few people that fell to red flag laws with that very same stance. And sometimes it bees like that. Well, that's what the TAPS Act would have done. I haven't looked deeply enough into the Charlie Kirk Act, but I will. But I think it's something similar, right? If you say something they don't like, they will punish you for it. Even if you didn't commit a crime, they will make it a crime now just for saying shit. You don't even have to threaten anybody. You can say, who cares if that guy died? Fuck him. Or, yeah, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Who is they? Who are you talking about? Who is they? Why do y'all ask questions like that? Who do you think I'm talking about? If criminals won't give up their guns, no civilian should give them up. Exactly. Piece of peace. Exactly. Dirk Diggler says they're stalking me now and Poe won't want me to get mental health eval. Be careful with that. Once they give you that mental health eval, what they say is going on with your mental is left up to the interpretation of a court-appointed psychiatrist. And that's going to be on your record. Not a criminal record, it's going to be on your record, though. So let's say you go try to buy a gun. You're going to be on the NICS system, and you're not going to be able to get one. Social credit score is another softer version. I'm not sure that we implemented that yet, but I know China does. China has a social credit score. Yeah. You fought the case for 7 years and won. That's what's up. Good for you, man. That's really dope. I hope you sue him for wasting your time. Shot Killen says, Snapzilla, some people who claim to believe in free speech be blocking people from commenting on their lives and in their comments. Such an angry man. Why is that? Because they don't believe in freedom. They don't really believe in it. They don't believe in freedom of speech. See, I'll have it done if you're spamming, if you're a bot. You know what I'm saying? If you say, why am I here? Or if you're announced to me that you're leaving and you don't want to be in the chat, I'll get you out of here. Not because you're free, not because of speech, but because you're letting me know you don't want to be here. and bots don't have free speech. And spamming isn't free speech. You're saying the same shit over and over again. You already said it. Drew Minnie says, no, that's censorship. No, it's not. If you tell me that you don't want to be here and you were bored, you don't want to hear what I have to say, then I'm going to help you out. You don't ever have to worry about me torturing you by speaking again. You can go on about your business. No doubt, shot killings. Cheap queef. Why are you concerned? You know. Oh boy. Anyway. Like I said, yeah, they're free speech, but I'm not getting you out of there for your speech. If you say you don't want to be here, I'm just helping you out. I'm not. No, that's not has nothing to do with your free speech. You have the right to tell me you don't want to be here, and I have the right to escort you out when you tell me that. Beer gut boomer, salute to you. Why do you people always get weird about circumcision? I mean, that's you know, private. It's none of your business if I'm circumcised or not. That's very homoerotic, like. But you know, I don't have to tell you about what's going on with my man junk. Right, people aren't real. You know, and that's really the point, right? There's all kind of people in here saying all kind of crazy shit, and I haven't gotten them out of here. Dudes asking if I'm circumcised, people talking shit. I don't get people, no. I'm not going to block you simply for disagreeing or talking shit. No. But if you say that you're done or that you don't want to hear what I have to say, then you don't have to be here. Kisa said, okay, Kisa, salute to you. Beer Gut says the CIA is throw you off your game style of question during a polygraph exam. The polygraph is a bunch of bullshit. The polygraph exam, that's why it's not admissible in court. Because people can get nervous and tell the truth, and the polygraph will say that they're lying, even though they're told you have people strapped up to electrodes and all that, and you're asking them these questions. They might get nervous. Doesn't mean they're lying though. Jacob Yarber says, we used to work together, man. It's good to see you. I miss you. I remember you used to. Okay. Y'all are weird as hell. See, this dude came in here, this dude, Jacob Yarber, talking about whatever he's talking about. I didn't delete him for that. You know, I could have blocked him, but no. I have very specific instructions for people being blocked. Very specific. And I'm going to stick to it from now on because I understand how important free speech is. Charlie Kirk was assassinated for his free speech, or for giving the platform to individuals so that they can exercise their free speech. I just don't believe he was killed by the left like they're trying to tell y'all. I believe they killed him for his speech in regards to Israel. In regards to how he allowed people to go on his platform and criticize Israel, who he was receiving, donations from. They offered him more money. He refused it. But the people that talk to you, that act like they cared about Charlie Kirk, pay attention to the ones that actually are talking about Israel. And pay attention to the people that are talking about Israel and how Charlie Kirk was going through with Israel before his death. They're not encouraging the government to punish people for free speech. They're not bitching and complaining about people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Pay attention to those that are actually pushing for people to get fired, for the government to take action against people for speaking. The ones that are giving you guys all this information about Israel, they're not talking about any of that. They're not concerned with what people are saying about Charlie Kirk after he died. What they're concerned about is Charlie Kirk's relationship with Israel before his death. Particularly Charlie Kirk's relationship with Benjamin Nosferatu. You won't hear them talking about firing people. No. But the ones that aren't talking about Israel are the ones that are trying to pin it on the left. They're the ones who are telling you, like Tim Pool, that if you don't believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, if you don't believe that story, then you're not going with the Occam's razor bullshit. He loves to use, Occam's razor says the least blah, 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 the least complicated solution, the least complicated explanation is the right one. Tim Pool's not talking about Israel in Charlie Kirk in that regard. No, he is encouraging an infringement on free speech. He is encouraging companies to fire people for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Melanie King is doing the same thing. The conservative twins. Pay attention to those on the right that are actually pushing infringements on your free speech, and the ones that are talking about Israel, like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. They're not talking about anything to do with the left. But these other people, best believe they are. And why did Ben Shapiro cancel? Why did they do that? Ben Shapiro and them. Why are they canceling their events? Y'all have to ask yourselves that question as well. So these same people, like a Tim Pool, like a Brandon Tatum, like a goddamn all these coons out there. Queen Sister Shaw was in the building. Salute to you. I ain't see you in a minute. She says, not to you is a whole demon. He is. Benjamin Nosferatu. Oh, and one thing that I didn't play for y'all that that Tucker Carlson said about Charlie Kirk and Israel and Benjamin Nosferatu. He said that Charlie Kirk loved the Jews and loved the people of Israel, but he did not like Benjamin Nosferatu. Tucker Carlson said that out of his own mouth. Charlie Kirk did not fox with Benjamin Nosferatu. Best believe there is a campaign that is being fun. Listen, who also infringes on the rights of free speech all the time? They try to punish you for your free speech. The Anti-Defamation League, ran by the small hats. They went at Kyrie Irving. They went at Kanye West. Candace Owens spoke out shortly after, right? Shortly after Israel got into it with Palestine, after October 7th. What happened to her? She got fired from the Wire, whatever the hell Ben Shapiro has. Oh, she got all into it with Ben Shapiro, who was always talking about free speech. But when it came to Candace Owens using her free speech to call out Israel, what happened to her? Look at the people that always talk about freedom of this, freedom of that, free this, free that, are now pushing to have your rights violated because you said something they don't like. And they're doing it in Charlie Kirk's name. Charlie Kirk will not agree to none of this. But what they want you to focus on is how Charlie Kirk was a racist right? That helps them paint the narrative that the left is responsible. You know, remember they tried to blame the HBCUs for Charlie Kirk's death. They blame the left, they blame the trannies, they blame black folks for Charlie Kirk's death. Right? Because of the speech he used against them. Shawa says, why didn't people care about free speech when we were threatened about speaking them under the Biden? Exactly. All these mofos are authoritarian basura. Facts, Queen Shawa. Mark said it just happened. Arizona media reporting man caught with a gun outside the State Farm Stadium. Crazy times. I got to look that up. Right, Shawa. Your people are being hung after he died. Yes, I talked about those individuals. I talked about Lee, not Lee, but Trey. What's his last name? I forgot. I talked about it. Well, no one forgot that Charlie Kirk died. Trust me, they didn't forget, because they're using his name to do all this shit. But well, no one wanted Charlie Kirk locked up for the shit, some of the shit he said. Not even people like me. Like, he can say what he wants. At least I know where he's coming from. I know where Charlie Kirk is coming from. I know. Because there are liberal white folks out there that really hate the shit out of black folks. But they have been trained to be microaggressive and to hide their hatred and display their racism through paternalism. And that's a whole different ball of wax. When you talk about the paternalistic behavior of liberal white folks toward black people, it's a dangerous thing because it's disguised, and black folks always fall for it. We fall right into place. So that's something that we also have to consider. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. Me and the wife got to go get our errands done, but thank you guys for coming through. I felt like we have to really look at it. These people that push law and order, these people that believe in government, these statists, they don't believe in freedom. Salute to J Bear Love. Salute to you. I appreciate it. They don't believe in it. Right? They talk out of both sides of their neck. They speak with forked tongues. Salute to Black Spring with Autumn. Salute to you, Queen. Thank you for coming through. They speak with forked tongues. They talk about all these freedoms. Freedom of this, freedom of that, free for gay couples to get married, freedom to freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms unless it's a bump stock. You know, it's bullshit, y'all. It's a bunch of bullshit. They don't really care about none of that. And these shields that come to you guys with their fancy little setups, with their fancy little production going on, and they convincing you that they're giving you honest reporting, and they're telling you all these things. 1 minute they're telling you they don't believe the story about Tyler Robinson, and the next minute they're trying to convince you that it really was a tranny terror cell. Well, you just said that the story they're feeding us about Tyler Robinson is bullshit, but you believe that part? It doesn't make any sense. Melanie King. Just when I thought Melanie King was on some shit. You point all these things out, all these inconsistencies from the government. You're talking about you don't trust the government, but you're believing what the government is saying about Tyler Robinson now because it involves a leftist tranny terror cell. Okay. Pay attention to the inconsistent ones. Those are the ones that are going to keep you locked in place. They're the ones that are going to keep you stagnant because they don't care about your critical thinking. They don't care about none of that. They only want you to question the narrative when they're giving you the narrative that they're questioning, and they want you to question it in their way. Anyway, that's all I got, y'all. Thank you for coming through. Much love. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this out. I'm really on a campaign to help you guys understand what freedom really is. Salute to Desiree Oliver. Salute to you, Queen. The beautiful Desiree Oliver in the building. Yes, yes. Nice to see you in here. So, just pay attention, y'all. Pay attention to those that they put in front of you. They've been putting these people in front of you for years. And now you trust them. You trust their judgment and you trust what they're telling you. But they are not consistent. It's all good, Desiree. Yes, I will catch you later as well. Light me up coming up in here. It's always a pleasure. Anyway, y'all stay up. Much love. Like, share, subscribe. And let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.